This CNBC Africa special comes to you from Dakar, Senegal, where we attended the Transformers Summit, an annual gathering organized by the Islamic Development Bank, where the bank brings together some of the key minds that are involved in finding solutions for Africa's growing problems. The main themes for this year's summit included health, education, transport, and climate change. Over the next 30 minutes, join us as we bring you some of the key voices, the arguments, as well as the solutions to Africa's expanding and growing problems.
The summit looks at the role of science, innovation, and technology in achieving the Sustainable Development Goal 11. And that is in making our city and human settlement inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Over the course of the day, we're going to be addressing many sectors, many issues, many themes that are involved in achieving those objectives.
We are here today, in fact, to celebrate the scientists and innovators who devoted themselves to finding solutions that contribute to achievement of the SDGs in general. Those people, the pioneer of the future and transform. And the main purpose of this summit is to connect scientists, innovators, global leaders to discuss the role of science, technology, and innovation in achieving SDG 11, making cities and settlement safe and inclusive, sustainable.
Courage que nous ayons.
We need to have the courage. Member states need to have the courage to transform themselves, undertake their own revolution, change their way to do business for the satisfaction of our communities and populations. This has been a very courageous challenge. I congratulate you. In your book, towards the Sustainable Development Goals, you rightly emphasize that the objectives of sustainable development open up a new era that will bring up development financing to billions to trillions of dollars during, given the magnitude of the needs to be met. That's a vision. It's not about 100 million or a few $1 million. That's not the way we're going to bring about a change. We need to be generous in our action. I fully agree. I fully share that perspective because it shows not only the magnitude of the needs, it also suggests by the same token how urgent it is to deal to the deep and root causes of underdevelopment, how we can deal to the symptoms to come up with the Sustainable Development Goals. This bold vision turns the Islamic Development Bank into a tiny institution serving member states, and that mood can be found in the topic of the summit: science, technology, and innovation for safe and resilient African cities.
Indeed, to face the challenge of change, we need to cross-breed ideas and perspectives from different horizons. We need to brainstorm across borders and continents. This is the heart of the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. The SDGs are the most encompassing agenda that humankind ever set for itself, but they're just an agenda, a global list of tasks. However ambitious and forward-thinking they may be, we still need to identify new solutions that will create transformative change in terms of poverty, in terms of hunger, in terms of water, climate change, gender equality, poverty, quality education, and innovation is the only path to be able to find those solutions for humanity. This is why gatherings like this, the Transformer Summit, are so essential. We need to have fresh ideas that we can foster a global movement with roots in the most remote communities, a movement that should be for everyone to be able to participate in and benefit from. We must have no one left behind. This principle is at the core of the SDGs. However, current trends reveal that some places will not achieve the SDGs if we do not strengthen and better coordinate our efforts in the spirit of innovation. I am talking about areas affected by conflict and armed violence. No country significantly impacted by violence had achieved the Millennium Development Goals, none. And we risk the same with the SDGs if we do not take full account of this issue. Conflict and violence undermine the conditions of sustainable development across the world. It could be an actual war affecting an entire country, or it could be street battling of gangs that affects and arrests development even in the midst of our richest cities. These areas are often left behind. Basic services rarely reach them. Businesses cannot thrive there. Teachers and schools can become targets, and even aid workers can be targeted. Currently, we are supporting more than 160 small businesses from Mexico, South Sudan, Uganda, and this number will increase over the coming years. Each of these businesses, each of these projects proves that young people can be key engineers of resilience, irrespective of whether we talk about societal issues or ecological issues. All I can say is that once equipped and empowered, they will surprise us. I see that all the time with WPDI. We provide resources, but they are the true drivers of change. I came to Dakar with one of our young peacemakers from South Sudan, Magdalena. Last April, Magdalena succeeded in getting 2 tribes that were fighting for years to sign a peace agreement. Many people had vainly tried to get them to talk. She could do it. Many people had vainly tried. She could do it. People had vainly tried to get them to talk. Many people get them to talk.
Conflict-affected countries have high illiteracy rate because they face many obstacles. When it comes to achieving quality education and gender equality, this creates a gap that creates other challenges like having poor infrastructures due to lack of quality engineers, high rate of diseases due to lack of basic health care services, lack of access to electricity and poor transportation, including communication network, and even humanity and justice is lost due to corruption and bribery. Despite of all these challenges that I've mentioned, you find in those places many young people are eager to work for the welfare of their communities. Growing up in South Sudan, I could not understand why so many women could die in labor. I reflected a lot on this. I realized that there are no midwives in the country. That is why there is high rate of maternal and prenatal mortality in the country. And not only that, you find very few women receive education. Due to gender inequality, women are not favored in South Sudan. There is a lot of child marriage without even your own wish. That is what is happening to us in our country. I don't know in Senegal what is happening, but this is what is happening to us. But as we young people, we are really fighting hard to achieve our dreams. I decided to become a midwife and make everything become possible, and even encourage young ladies to go back to school, despite the fact they have been forced to get married. Today I'm a midwife, a peace builder, and a health personnel educator.
Your Excellency, I want to come back to the issue of innovation and what you're doing here in Senegal, because earlier you adopted a bill here, the Senegal Startup Act, which talks about the growth of innovation, which talks about the need to finance startups. Can you share with us what you are hoping to achieve through this and what difference you think it will make?
Absolument. Nous avons conscience que sans
Absolutely, we
l'innovation,
are aware that without innovation, without science, without technology, we will always be lagging behind. So basically, I initiated a fund for rapid entrepreneurship for youth and women that we call ADARE in short. It's a delegation that has to change methods with regard to what we have been doing so far. And in the budget that is allocated, about 50 to 60 million US dollars a year from our national budget, we have allocated 3 billion CFA to innovation for the startups in particular. Obviously, this is going to require other funding actions, but as the ISDB president said, we needed to provide risk capital to these young innovators, and through cooperation with the United Arab Emirates, we have just have approval of the creation of an incubation center of high capacity, which will also facilitate and increase funding for these startups. We are aware, as he rightly said, that growth that will be the most important will not be growth from economy, from agriculture rather, or even industry, but growth, as you can see across the world, the largest companies at global level are no longer Airbus or Boeing. It's, Facebook, these are the new digital companies. The world has changed. We need to understand that.
Dr. Hajar, if I can ask you for your final thoughts, we are here at the Transformers Summit, where we are celebrating people who are going out there and solving societal problems through innovation. Talk to us about what you have seen to date in terms of the people that are coming through and what you are doing again to grow this so that the transformers are more of them rather than just being a few people who are making the difference.
In fact, transformation is difficult, and sometimes it is painful. But what does more really painful is a failure. Failure is to read the changes on the level of external and internal. We have really to read the changes which the world is witnessing, and then act upon this thing and align our model to the future need of our countries, communities, and all the things. Today I'm so pleased to see innovators from 20 countries came here to Dakar to present their innovative ideas. And we promised them to support all of them through commercialization, grant, and other mode of financing, because we are sure that through their contribution, they will improve the life of the people and communities, not just in our member countries, but in the world as a whole.
The reason that we are here, as I mentioned with His Excellency Dr. Hajar, because we are celebrating our transformers. When we started this last year, everybody said because we are, coming from a developing world, and you will never find good ideas, and people going through hardship. We have a lot of catastrophes, and you will never find, good ideas. So last year we received more than 4,000. This year we received more than 5,000 from 173 countries. It's amazing ideas. And you can tell here, and the way when we received it, we go through a very rigorous way of selecting. So they go through many viewers, specialized viewers and experts in every single SDG. So we sponsor 6 SDG in food security, health, quality education, water, energy, and infrastructure. And then they go through that type of selection. So from 5,000, they made it 1,400, and then we go for top 10, then they go for top 60, and then we go for top 30. And because this year was an amazing idea, so we increased our funding to 34, and after that, we go through our board of trustees for their endorsement and direction for strategy. And I'm very happy to announce that we have this year more women than men, and because we want to increase, yes, we have to really. 58% of the grantee of the fund women than men. And here they are. They came all the way from different countries, and I will talk about the academy, and they're amazing with different ideas, different level of innovation, and they're all of them really addressing the all SDGs.
I came from Bangladesh, and I'm here to solve a major problem of my country. Please have a look at this picture. Who are they? These people are part of those huge number of Rohingya refugees who had seeking sanctuary in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh since 2017. Can you believe Bangladesh is now a home to 1 million Rohingya refugees? 1 million people with no shelter, no place to survive. Not only the issues of food, safety, health, and education, but please look how they are living. This is not right. The housing solution they have been provided with is not working because it's not sustainable, it's not durable, it can't protect them from extreme weathers, it is vulnerable to natural disasters, and it has no electricity supply. Well, providing every house with a solar panel is not feasible. But my team and Dr. Mubarak Ahmed Khan has came up with a solution to solve this issue. How many of you know this plant? Well, this is jute plant, a thin leafy plant. And jute is the second most used naturally occurring fiber after cotton. And Bangladesh is the second highest jute producing country in the world. We are transforming this jute fiber. We are using our natural resources and building a safe, a robust and durable building material. We are creating a whole new value-added industry for Bangladesh. By this point, you might have known how we are going to use this. Yes, we are transforming this thin leafy plant into a durable and sustainable shelter for the Rohingya refugees of my country.
Is it still okay to expect our African mothers to work for water every day, a task they're currently losing 200 million hours every day doing? And so, in 2017, my company, Water Access Rwanda, started reclaiming the broken hand pumps to transform them into state-of-the-art groundwater solar kiosks that create water mini-grids in any area, whether it be an island or hard-to-reach communities, but also fast-growing peri-urban centers. But it's also a market opportunity. Instead of seeing the water crisis as just a need and the people affected as potential beneficiaries, we see it as a market opportunity. Once we purify the water and sell it at a public kiosk for the very small price of $0.001 every liter, we can earn up to $1 a month per user. And once they have water in their home, safe piped water access, Their demand goes up to the recommended WHO standard of 50 to 100 liters per person per day, which means we earn up to $12 per household per month, unlocking a market opportunity sitting there. Our business model is very simple. We raise initial capital from governments, donors, and other investors, which is used to construct the initial Inuma infrastructure. The water produced is then sold, again at a very small price of $0.001 every liter, at walk-up customers at the kiosk who bring their own containers, but also through prepaid meters that connect people in their own homes. But we also have to acknowledge that even a small affordable price, which represents less than 3% of the minimum income of most Africans, can still be unaffordable for many. So to scoop up that market as well, we calculate and certify our carbon emission reduction, resulting from the fact that households no longer need to boil the water in order for them to consume it. So we quantify the carbon emission reduction and sell it to companies that wish to go carbon neutral, creating a shared value out of a shared resource, that is water. We're already seeing a lot of impact of our solution. For 57,000 people today, they won't have to walk a long way or wait a long time to access clean water. We've already distributed 32 million liters, created 65 jobs out of the 35 mini-grids we currently operate. Beyond that, we maintain a pretty high customer satisfaction at 93.2% satisfaction recorded every year.
I found out that over 700 million people don't have access to a toilet all over Africa. And going back to my country, 76% of our population don't have access to proper sanitation facilities. And as a result of it, over 40 people die every day due to water and sanitation-related issues. And you might be wondering, why don't those people just go and buy a toilet? In fact, when people think about having a toilet, they think about the cost of installing a toilet, which is from 3 to 5 minimum salaries, the cost of flushing the toilet, which is from 2 to 10 liters of water if you use the porcelain toilet, plus the cost of maintenance of that toilet, which although it might happen only every 3 or 5 years, but when it happens, it costs you 1 minimum salary. So with all those costs, having a toilet becomes too expensive to a low-income family. As you can see the numbers in the screen. That's why we brought to the market Susamati. And Susamati means save water in a sustainable way. And our mission is to make sure that everyone have access to a toilet. So our solution is a toilet that uses only 1 cup of water to flush it. It uses special organism inside the pit that biodegrade organic material, and because of it, it lasts 6 times more than a normal toilet, and it's 60% cheaper than a normal toilet.
I find this program is like is a way of transformation, is a new way of life. Is a way of life actually, because we face challenges and we need solutions. And we are tapping to the thinker layer of our society. We are tapping to the most promising layer of our society, youth, entrepreneurs, who have amazing ideas, who feel the challenges, and they come with a practical solution, which is I'm really concentrating on. So the Transformers Academy and the Transformers Summit really concentrate on how we're going to equip the entrepreneurs with all the right elements and tools, because I believe we have a duty towards them, the next generation. We need to provide and support any opportunities that they can fulfill their dreams. This year, we receive about 181,000 students. We break the record worldwide. But how can I go on to support them? So I went heavily on partnership and collaboration. So every student I gave His Excellency or the bank for free. So that required hard work, required collaboration, and it's only by collaboration, because people do have resources, people who wanted to have a story, and when you show them the real story and talent and guarantee them the right environment, people will love to be part with you, part of the history and change.
Uber has been associated with innovation, coming up with solutions where there were huge challenges some thought were insurmountable, like for instance finding also the right kind of Uber for each different African market. Talk to us about the kind of innovations potentially that you'll need to consider as you move forward, because I've seen we also need you use a motorcycle.
So one of the things we do when we go into markets, or in the markets we are, is also look at what is most appropriate for the market. So for example, in Lagos, which is a city that is by the water and is the third of the city landmass is in water, we did a pilot for Uber boats for 2 weeks just to look at the potential of the market. In other cities we have, for example, in Cairo we have high capacity vehicles, in Nairobi we have the chap-chaps. So it's not a one size fits all for every market. We also look at what's most appropriate, what makes the most sense, what is most effective for each market. And so some markets can have multiple products, some markets can have one product, depending on the segmentation of product and what we think will suit the market.
You are holding an interesting contraption in your hand, and I wonder what it is. Can you just explain it?
Yeah, so basically it's a small filter that fits into a plastic bottle, and you grab water from a lake, a river, a well, and basically you can just screw it in and then filter water straight ahead and drink it without bacteria, sediment, or any bigger pathogens.
So effectively, what have you done? You have filtered out every kind of disease that imaginable that could be there?
Yeah, so anything that is bigger than bacteria, so cysts, bacteria like E. coli, for example, yes. We're making a version for a jerry can that also filters viruses. And we're working with NGOs to test it in the field and get feedback from people and then continue growing and making different models.
And that's the program from Dakar, Senegal, site of this year's Islamic Development Bank Transformers Summit, where we mingled with key minds that are looking at some of Africa's key development programs and also doing some work in science, innovation and technology. Until next time, from all of us, thank you for joining us.